Welcome once again, Jon Rognerud live here. Welcome. It's a good day in Los Angeles here today. Hope the same for you all. We are out on the good old Facebooks, and we are coming into you also on media and marketing. Man, I appreciate all the love. Keep that coming. Just can't stop it. So, hey, today we are going to talk about marketing, and we're going to talk about sales. In fact, we're going to talk about marketing and sales. And that is the right order, by the way, not sales and marketing. You've heard me talk about this before. And by the way, before I dig in, let's not forget here, we want to make sure that if you have any questions, you head on over to chaosmap.com, because if you have any questions, we are happy to jump on a call with you to help you with those questions. But also, you may have some deeper needs, and we can drill into that as well and see if we can help you. And of course, in full transparency, if there is a match and we think it's all good on both ends, hey, we might be able to work together. All right, so enough of the pitching here. Let's get into it. So, I'm dealing with this quite a bit in the marketplace in general. It's common, obviously. This is something that most business owners and companies struggle with, whether you are small or large. And that is, hey, I got great marketing going on. I think we have kind of nailed it. We have a nice click stream at the top. We have traffic coming in. We have a funnel users are navigating through the various pages, and once they hit a certain level into our navigational path, things just stop. Or if they even pass through to, let's say it's a call, an appointment, nothing happens. So basically, we're going to go ahead now and blame the marketing people. All your advertising sucks. This doesn't work. I'm spending money, and we are getting zero sales or low sales, right? Have you heard this before? Very common. And also, this is where you have to educate your customers, clients, to let them know not only how this works, what the expectations are. Expectations management is a big deal, but also educate them through metrics, meaning your KPIs, those values that indicate success. Because at the end of the day, you might have a great relationship, communication is good. The results line the numbers. And when I say the numbers, I mean completely marketing and sales numbers, not just marketing, right? So what you ultimately want to do is make sure that anything you're spending at the front end has a return in the back end. And if you're working with let me say, not a closed loop type of customer journey where everything is handled online through, let's say, an e-commerce transaction, but that it maybe is open to where, especially this happens in professional services areas, where your traffic is handed over to a calendar or to an office somewhere where the salesperson picks up the phone and or calls them back and is then slated to close that deal, whether it's an appointment or if it's a transaction of perhaps even a larger size, right? So all of that needs to be synced up and needs to be tracked. Processes have to be developed, and there has to be sign-off on this from the executive level all the way throughout. And we actually help with this process ourselves at the agency to help even get down to as detailed as scripts when phones are picked up, as this is very important. So clearly, a number of moving parts here, and that you get your marketing and sales both squared away here. Okay, so you know what? Let's go ahead and dig into what the main problem is. I've sort of alluded to this, but I want to say it's a two-part problem here. So I want to call this out. But first, kudos to my man Kern here. Basically, this idea that, and again, very crude drawing here. If you're not watching, this is basically just three circles. The first circle, deep green, is a now B, which is now buyers. The light green in the middle is tomorrow buyers, and the red is never buyers. And it's red because stop sign, right? They're never going to buy from you. And if you notice, these circles have different sizes, and that is on purpose. The now buyers is smaller because that is not necessarily the group you want to, well, you'll take them because they'll take action on your particular offer. So that's fine. So we'll put that in heavy green because that is green for, dollars or money. And the middle part is tomorrow buyers, a little larger circle here, because that's a big group. And the biggest, of course, is the never buyers, never going to be interested. And if you think about this simple concept, what you need to focus on is obviously you'll take the now buyers, but there's tremendous amounts of push for the now buyers, which means it's also very competitive in that region, which also means you're going to spend more money and it's going to be frustrating for you. You need a balance of the first circle and the second circle. The never buyers, they're still going to come through, of course, into your world, but they're going to self-select out. They're going to basically say, hey, that was not interested. I'm enjoying strawberries and you're selling me blueberries. I think not. If that's what you're doing, I'll never buy from you. So there's a filtering process going on, and that happens naturally, but also through your messaging, your positioning, obviously your products and services, etc. But what happens here is there's a lot of focus on what we call vanity metrics. So if management or whoever you're dealing with looks at your front end and essentially your activities from your marketing, and so we'll use Facebook ads here as an example. And, they run a report month 1 against month 2, and they see in month 2 that, hey, our click costs are going up, our CPMs are rising. Some of our conversion points are not exactly moving in the right direction, etc. All that is good conversation to have. It's part of the conversation, I should say. But, hey, what you want to do is go to the back end and see, what are you doing? We had a case of this recently. Somebody had come in and say, hey, we spent almost $200 here. And, that was a short test period, by the way. But I come to find out that they had closed $1,500 worth of business in the back end, right? Huge return, even considering cost of goods sold and other overhead and office leases and this and that. So, you want to obviously make sure that your marketing tracks, but also your sales back end. And I also mean, when I say that, I mean not just relying on pixels for Facebook or for Google Analytics, but in fact, tracking it right through to your CRM or whatever backend system you are using, and that you have that all into a dashboard ultimately. That's what you want, right? Now, let's get back to this graph for a moment. So what a lot of folks do here is they focus on the now buyers. So as I said, very competitive and, buy now. When in fact, a good strategy here from a balancing perspective is to, certainly relate to the now buyers. And by the way, there's another layer on top of this I haven't called out in this graph, super rudimentary graph, by the way, is the customer journey, right? So the top of the funnel, cold traffic, warm traffic, middle, bottom of funnel, hot. So when you do this, though, the tendency is to, I'm going for the now buyers, but I'm just going to, in the second bucket, include anybody else, including the never buyers. I'm just going to keep hammering and hammering. And what you really want to do is you want to focus on the tomorrow buyers. And this is just a simple and great model for you to think about in terms of how you structure it. Now, the title of this podcast is Marketing, but No Sales. So the first step is, I said, talked about this just a few minutes ago, make sure that you're tracking your marketing and your sales, and that there is a sales process. It has to be very clearly defined so that you're not, jumping on the ads or traffic person, or vice versa, that if you are the ads/traffic person, educate your customer client on this, that you can send them traffic and leads all day long. If it doesn't convert, you can certainly help with that process, or you can just say, hands off, I'm not doing this anymore. You obviously don't have your act together. This is a team effort, and we can team up on this, or we can part ways as friends, right? So that's an important aspect of this. But when you do this and you call this out, that's step one, as I said, for determining if your sales is going to happen or not from your marketing. And step two is that in your marketing and in your positioning, you just don't go for the jugular. Imagine this scenario. You're sending traffic over through the sales process. It ends up at somebody's desk and they call them back, or they set up an appointment. And what they're doing is they're just basically going for sell, when in fact there's a softer component in there as well. Again, each business different here. But if somebody's coming in from cold traffic and they're speaking to your office or to your practice, and the first thing you do is just sell, not going to work, right? Nobody wants that. That's the dating principle 101. Not going for the kiss or for the ring the first night. There's a process. So if you think of it then as tomorrow buyers, as in, hey, let me serve you now today in any way I can, in terms of making that a comfortable, easy to follow process, and that it follows that sort of nurturing concept, then that's great, because you are thinking long term, you are thinking about the customer or client, and you're thinking about how can I best serve them at that moment, so that they become not only buyers, sooner rather than later, but also that they become ongoing, what we call tomorrow buyers, right? So they're basically an advocate for your business. They keep coming back, and that you are very clear on who your never buyers are. Now, a lot of this can happen through dissection of the demographics, the technographics, the psychographics, essentially customer profiling, your avatars, etc. All of that needs to be discussed and cleared, so that you have clarity going in. But ultimately here, if you think about it this way, that you are covered on the marketing and sales process in terms of having those systems down, and that you understand what that means in terms of the metrics and the KPIs. That's step one, as I said. Number two, that you are focusing on serving, not just for the jugular sale, as I said, but for the long term, and that you exclude the never buyers. You just don't need to talk to them, right? Not of interest to you or them. So that's kind of the gist of today's presentation and walkthrough. I just want to make sure that if you have any questions, that you head on over to chaosmap.com, chaosmap.com. That's the agency. We founded over 10 years ago now. And I'm the CEO and creative director over here. So happy to get myself or one of my superb experts to jump on with you and cover any questions you might have. Because we deal with this all day long, and we have been dealing with this for many years. And there is a process to this madness. There is a solution. And so if you're struggling with this, happy to walk you through some of the things that we do on this end, and just simply some ideas. Had a great client call today where we're pushing out some new strategies, and very well accepted, but hadn't been integrated yet, right? That's also an onboarding process. And if you have a larger team, that's not just one person accepting this as gospel. It's actually getting the other folks indoctrinated and making sure that they embrace this as well. The whole team needs to be behind this. So again, just wanted to summarize quickly and say that I appreciate you, and that you just need to keep going doing what you're doing. It's called progress, and marketing and sales equals success. I have here on this chart. I mean, how bland or how simple is that? It is true, though. If you are doing anything online, anything offline, anything in business, you need visibility, and you need to attract through marketing. You need to have a sales process which is locked down, and then you need to define what that success looks like for you. All right, once again, Jon here, thanking you and appreciating you for hanging out with me here for a few minutes today. And we'll see you tomorrow in Friday Footage. It's turning out to be an exciting sort of episode each Friday here. And I really appreciate you all coming in on that as well. All right, take it easy, good folks. Later.